How's it going? My name's Jared. I am the Resource Tool Library Manager down here at Resource Boulder on 6400 Arapahoe. Today what we're going to be doing is showing you how to use a couple tools, the circular saw and the miter saw, both of which you can rent down here for $5 a day as soon as you become a member. Before we begin, we want to do a couple safety things. Make sure we have no loose clothing on, our hair's pulled back. We're going to go ahead and put our safety goggles on right now, and also the ear protection, which I'll put on when we're about to make the cut. Before we begin, we want to make sure that the lumber, the 2x4, is clamped down securely to the table that you're working on. You then want to come over here with your circular saw. This is a side-winding circular saw, by the way. You want to make sure that the depth that you have on your blade is just about a 1/4 inch below the piece of wood that you're going to be cutting. So then what you want to do is you're going to come and you're going to make your line with the speed square where you want to be cutting. So here we're going to do it right there. And you also want to make sure that there's no nails or screws in the wood so you don't screw up your blade and cause an accident. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and plug in our saw. We're going to be using the speed square to make sure that the cut that we make is straight. We're going to get the blade up to full speed before we actually go into the wood, and when we get through, we want to make sure that the blade stops and the guard is completely covering the blade before we set it down. So, here we go. You can then use your speed square to make sure that you made a straight cut by lining it up with the wood. So as you can see, it's a perfect 90-degree angle. Now you can build whatever you need to do. So another use of the circular saw is to cut a longer piece of particle board or plywood, whatever it is. And just like before, you want to make sure that you always have your safety goggles on, your ear protection on, and any loose clothing or rings that you might have on. It's okay to take it off right now. So here what we did is we're just going to cut along here. So I made use of the clamps again and this square, and that'll be used to create the straight edge. So once again, you want to get the blade going at the max speed and then begin your cut. And another thing that you might have noticed is you want to make sure that your cord is always out of the way and that you have enough distance to complete the cut. So here we are with the compound miter saw. This here we also have at the tool library that you can rent for $15 a day. You might want to use this if you're working on baseboard, crown molding, making a picture frame for your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is. This here, you have very precision cuts. You can move this up to 50 degrees this way for those angles. And then you can also make beveled cuts by adjusting it here in the back, as so. But since we're just going to make a straight cut, we're going to set both to 0. Make sure that everything's locked in the position. We've already gone ahead and put our vice grip, the quick grip, right here, because you never want to have your hands inside this cutting area. You also want to make sure that the wood is firmly up against the fence here. We have our safety goggles and our ear protection as well. When we get finished cutting, we want to make sure that the blade comes to a complete stop before we bring it back up to make sure that the blade doesn't cut this extra piece or catch this extra piece of wood and fly it out, which could be seriously dangerous. So here we go. So there's your straight cut on the compound miter saw. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Jared at the Resource Tool Library. Come check us out. We got over 2,500 tools, over 2,000 members that are currently renting from us. Anything from hammers to shovels to jackhammers. So whatever suits your fancy, come on in, hang out, talk with us. We'll give you advice on your projects and we can learn something from you and maybe we can teach something to you as well.